Juanita Bynum was literally dropped on her head, and now she's spiritually dropping names from the pulpit. You won't believe what she said to people who didn't give her money. And yet, thousands are still cheering her on. Has Dr. Juanita Bynum finally crossed the line for good? Or is this just another chapter in her already controversial legacy? In today's deep dive, we're breaking down a shocking viral moment that has the internet in total disbelief, an act that's left many questioning the integrity of modern-day ministry and wondering if they've been spiritually played all along. We're talking public shaming, emotional manipulation, and the blurred lines between faith and finance, and it's all happening on the pulpit. So sit tight, because by the end of this video, you'll either be stunned, angry, or completely rethinking everything you thought you knew about Juanita Bynum. During a recent live church service, Dr. Juanita Bynum, dressed in her iconic white robe, stood confidently behind the podium as the music died down. The energy was thick. The crowd, fully engaged. All eyes were on her, but no one expected what came next. Instead of transitioning into a sermon or altar call, Bynum shocked the audience by reading names, not in prophecy, not in prayer, but to expose who had donated and who hadn't. "I see you gave," she smiled at one person. Then turning to another, her tone shifted, "I don't see your name." She paused. "Are you sure you're supporting what you say you believe in?" Gasps. Silence. Uneasy shuffling in pews. This wasn't encouragement, it felt like public discipline. The moment was filmed, clipped, and shared across TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and X, formerly Twitter, sparking immediate backlash. Comments flooded in. "This is spiritual manipulation. I felt secondhand shame just watching. This ain't church, this is a hustle." But not everyone disagreed. Some came to her defense, saying she was simply holding people accountable. "Kingdom support takes kingdom sacrifice," one supporter wrote on Facebook. "She's telling the truth." But truth or not, the delivery, the timing, the tone, all of it lit a firestorm. To understand why this one moment cut so deep, we have to zoom out, way out, and take a closer look at Dr. Juanita Bynum's history. Because this isn't the first time she's blurred the line between spirituality and spectacle. Back in the early 2000s, before going viral was even a concept, Juanita Bynum delivered a raw, emotional sermon titled "No More Sheets" that changed everything. She preached with vulnerability, laying bare her history of sexual relationships, heartbreak, failed marriages, and spiritual redemption. It was a breakout moment. She became a household name in Christian circles. But with that fame came a shift. Juanita wasn't just preaching anymore, she was building a brand. Books. Worship CDs. DVDs. Empowerment tours. Branded prayer kits. And nothing came cheap. Who could forget the infamous $133 prayer kit? It included anointing oil, a prayer cloth, and one of her teachings on DVD. Critics accused her of monetizing desperation. Defenders said she was offering tools for spiritual growth. But even then, the line between ministry and marketing was getting thinner, and the critics were getting louder. Then came the 2007 incident that made national headlines. Juanita Bynum was physically assaulted by her then-husband, Bishop Thomas Weeks, in the parking lot of an Atlanta hotel. The assault led to a very public divorce. While many rightfully stood behind her as a survivor of domestic violence, others noticed how quickly she went public. She did interviews, appeared on Larry King Live, spoke at churches about the incident, turned the pain into purpose and branding. For some, this was inspiring. For others, it felt calculated. It was the moment she shifted fully from preacher to spiritual celebrity, and her personal life became part of the performance. Financial controversy has followed Juanita Bynum for years. In 2012, a court ruled that she owed $140,000 to a promoter for failing to appear at a scheduled event. That same year, reports emerged of unpaid debts, evasion of legal proceedings, and disputes over booking fees. In interviews, she admitted to only staying in luxury hotels while ministering. "I need a certain atmosphere to prepare spiritually," she said. Critics were furious. "If you're supposed to be a servant of God, why are you living like a Hollywood star?" And yet, the bookings continued. The offerings came. The supporters stayed. Which brings us back to now. Despite the controversies, Juanita Bynum still commands loyalty. Why? Because she knows how to move a crowd. Her sermons are passionate, emotional, and deeply personal. For many, especially older Black churchgoers, single women, and people with lived trauma, she speaks their language. They don't just see a preacher. They see survival. To them, she represents overcoming heartbreak, rebuilding after abuse, finding faith through brokenness. They resonate with her pain and her fire. And then, there's the cult of personality. Once a spiritual figure reaches a certain status, criticisms feel like attacks. Scandals become tests. Accountability turns into persecution. Followers defend them at all costs. "If the people gave like they were supposed to, she wouldn't have to call names," one loyal supporter wrote recently. But here's where things get complicated. While her loyal base continues to support her, newer generations, Gen Z and younger millennials, aren't having it. To them, this isn't bold preaching. It's toxic behavior. Publicly shaming people for not giving? That's not conviction, that's coercion. Emotional manipulation wrapped in religious language. This moment has sparked what many are calling a silent civil war in the church. The old guard sees her as a prophetess, a spiritual general, a woman of divine authority. The new wave sees her as a relic of a manipulative era, a time when fear was mistaken for faith. And both sides are talking past each other. Here's where it gets really unsettling. Some insiders believe this wasn't just an emotional outburst, it was a strategy. A deliberate act to go viral. To stir controversy. To dominate the headlines again. Because in the world of modern ministry, outrage drives revenue. The more clicks you get, the more views you rack up, the more offerings you receive. And in that sense, Juanita Bynum may have just pulled off the ultimate spiritual publicity stunt. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. What Juanita Bynum did, publicly calling out givers and non-givers, is not an isolated incident. It's part of a growing trend in the modern-day church. We are now living in the age of pay-to-pray. VIP seating for conferences. Paid access to the prayer line. $1,499 prayer institutes. Sow a seed prophecies. Subscription-based deliverance ministries. Faith is being monetized. Healing is being branded. And the ones who can't pay? They're left behind, or worse, made to feel spiritually defective. Juanita Bynum may be the face of this trend. But she is not the only one. So what does this moment, this scandal, really say? Not just about Juanita Bynum. But about us. About how we consume spirituality. About how we reward fame. About how we confuse charisma with anointing. Maybe the real question isn't, why is Juanita doing this? Maybe the question is, why do people keep following? And more importantly, what are we really worshiping? Whether you view Dr. Juanita Bynum as a powerful woman of God or a master manipulator, one thing is clear: she knows how to command attention, and she knows how to keep it. But at what cost? The pulpit should never be a place of shame. It should be a place of healing. So to those watching, stay alert. Stay discerning. And remember, no offering, no robe, no title makes someone holy. Only the fruit of their actions will tell the truth.